This podcast is sponsored by nobody. Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming back the beautiful, the talented, the no-filtered Rachel Hayward, one of Canada's finest. She's coming back on today. We're going to talk about more film and television roles that she did back in the day. And it's going to be a great conversation. You know, my favorite movie she was ever in was Breaking All the Rules, which we talked about almost the whole conversation last time she was on 5 years ago. We didn't get into a lot of the other stuff she's done, like Xtro 2, The Second Encounter. She was in Just One of the Girls with Corey Haim. She's done lots of TV stuff. She guest starred in the Commish, Highlander, Xena, Warrior Princess. She was on this short-lived called The Wild Series with Nick Mancuso. Lots of good stuff. And she's got her own design business, O2O Design, Odo Design. And it's going to be another great conversation. I can't wait. It's going to be great catching up with Rachel today. So yeah, here is my new interview with Rachel Hayward. Hey Rachel, welcome back. How are you today?
Good. I didn't have a chance to do my hair for you today, so you're just going to have to deal with all the curls.
That's perfectly fine. That this is audio only, so it's all good.
Well, happy holidays to you, and my gosh, happy New Year coming up.
Yes, happy holidays. Did you have a good Christmas?
I did. It was a nice Christmas. Just surrounding myself with my family and my friends around here, and having some treats, way too many, and gaining a couple of pounds.
Yeah, yeah, we all are. I turned 40 this year. I moved back to the Bay Area, and I've never been busier, so I can't complain.
40?
Yep.
Yes, man, that's hilarious. You're 40.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Oh my God, that's the new 20.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, I tell you, because I'm doing a lot of things I didn't do when I was younger. Like, take responsibility and hold myself accountable when I'm wrong is one of them. And it feels so good,
yeah, I know.
say.
It just takes forever to learn that stuff, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, I have a 19-year-old who's in the me phase, and, it's just a matter of time before Lucy, grasps that there are others on the planet, but, she's just not in that phase right now,
Right.
And as you get older, you learn so many things, and you just become wise, and you become, a better person, really, I think.
I truly agree. So, recently, I was interviewing one of your co-stars from Xtro 2.
God, that's a long time ago. Isn't that fantastic? Who was it?
Yeah, I was talking to Tara Buckman, and I actually meant to bring you up, but I was looking at the clock. It was like 80 minutes, so I let her, go on her rant about Jan Michael Vincent, and then I wrapped it up. But, I'm curious to know, like, what was your experience making that movie?
Well, I was very inexperienced making that movie, so to me it was just one big party, I loved... I remember some of the cast. Nick from X-Files. What's Nick's last name? Nick.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I can't believe I don't know his name because I've known him
Nick Lee.
For so many. Yeah, Nick Lee. He was just fabulous, and watching him work was learning how to act for me. Because he had so much more experience than me at the time. But wasn't Paul Kozlow in that movie? Xtro 2?
Yes, he was.
Now, Paul Kozlow ended up being a really good friend of mine. I just recently learned that he had passed. I just looked him up and saw that he had passed away. But,
yeah,
he was just a brilliant guy. And, God, I just threw out a whole bunch of pictures of that movie the other day. I was doing this big cleanup, and I saw all these pictures of Kozlow and I was just tossing them in the garbage because, it's... What do you do with all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
What a great guy he was. He had emphysema, so he had to keep going to the hospital, right?
Oh, yeah.
But, and there was so much smoke and atmosphere smoke on that show. And I just remembered it was really hard on him because it was totally exacerbating his asthma.
Yeah.
But Jan Michael Vincent, man, they had to hold that guy up. You know that, right?
I don't doubt it, because he was, going through a lot, in the decade leading up to that with his alcoholism.
Yeah, like it was, for me, it was, he was very, Jan Michael Vincent was a sweet man, but he was just really, he was just so hammered that he just was, they literally had to prop him up against stuff for him to say his lines. He kept forgetting, and it's a sad thing to see Luke Skywalker end up like that.
That was Mark Hamill, not Jan Michael Vincent.
No, wrong guy. But like, he had a career, and it's hard to see that his career ended up like that. It's just, when he was, I don't even know how old he was. What, 40? When he did Xtro 2, he had a,
yeah.
I mean, just, he had a career. He was known, and and then he ends up like in Xtro 2, and he can't even stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
That was a real blunder of mine. I didn't mean to say that. I just know that he was a famous guy, and he ended up like in a shitty place, right?
Yeah, it's true. When he was doing that show Airwolf, there was always a fight on that set. He was always drunk. It was sad.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you, Tommy, a couple too many is not a good idea, especially in the acting industry.
Oh, no.
I kind of don't really drink very much alcohol at all, so...
That's good.
I just do because I find it sloppy. It's sloppy. It makes you sloppy.
I've been sober for 8 years because of my car accident, and I've never looked back.
Yeah, there you go. And I barely drink, so it's a good thing. It's a good habit because they're coming out with all this information these days that are telling us that it's a lot more harmful than we thought.
Absolutely. And what was it like working with Tara?
Oh, like I'm not kidding you. Like, it was one of the funnest experiences of my life because I was so new, and I just thought it was just one big party. And you know what's really weird is that I actually have footage. I have footage of the Xtro 2 party.
Oh, yeah?
The rap party. Why did I came across it somewhere, and it might have even been online or something, but I just remember, like, we had this huge rap party, and I just, that's so long ago. I mean, Tara was lovely, and like I said, I was just a newbie on set, just with my eyes wide open and soaking it all in,
Yeah. That was like one of the movies that made her want to get out of acting after so long. She told me, but she's back east now, taking care of her mother, and she's doing autograph shows. So.
Oh, that's cool. Is she doing any acting?
No, but I know the autograph show scene well enough to know that she probably will again, because so many people who left the business who started doing the autograph shows are like back in movies now.
Yeah, you know what? I got a piece of it. Yeah, a piece of info here. As an actor, you never quit.
Right.
You just don't. It's just the way it is. I've had a rough time in the last 2 years booking any jobs. I just haven't had any luck, and I've supported myself through acting my entire life. So now I'm 58 years old, and it's getting slim pickings for me. Yeah, there's a lot of competition, and what with the whole shift in casting, mm-hmm. with just all the ethnicities and open ethnicities and stuff, it's really become slim pickings for me. And I've thought to myself, I'm quitting. Well, no, I'm not. I'm just not working right now. And also, auditions are coming in, and it's you just keep doing them, and one day, you get a hit, right?
Right. And yeah, they're always saying that. They're like, did you quit acting? Like, no, I just haven't gotten the fucking job.
Well, I've been doing a lot of auditions, so it's not like I'm not acting. It's just that I'm not getting paid for it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm still excelling at my job, to be honest. I'm still pulling my auditions and doing a good job and putting out some nice stuff, and not only not hearing about it, I got pinned a couple of times, but generally I just don't hear a thing. And you know, you've just spent 10 hours doing an audition. You like to hear something. In the old days, they used to. Well, first of all, it used to be very, very few people reading for a role.
Right.
And then your agent would say, here's the feedback, and there was always callbacks and 1 and 2 callbacks even, and these days it's like, here's the material. There's no director, no casting, and no direction. Here it is. Go for it. Film it in your house. Send it to us, and we're never going to call you back. And as a matter of fact, the 2 jobs. I did 2 Zoom callbacks and booked them both. But yeah, that's a Zoom callback where you're not meeting anybody. You're just looking at a blank screen. It's very strange, very impersonal.
Yeah.
But I did have a lot of direction in my callbacks, in which I was able to work that out, and then I scored the jobs. But yeah, it's very different now. Very different now.
It is. I mean, most people still prefer going in person and auditioning.
I am not one of those people. I prefer taping, just because I know that I'm more relaxed when I'm with my friends in my own house.
Okay, that's cool. I mean,
if I go to an audition, I got to get there. But the worst part is then I got to see all the girls waiting to read for the role. You see, then your brain starts going, okay, well, you're not as pretty as her, and she looks smarter, and that was a better outfit, and your brain just starts to go crazy, and that. You got to watch it, but you're normal, so you're going to see people and you're going to think, oh my God, she's so perfect for the part. What am I doing here? Just all that stuff. I don't see any of that now.
Yeah.
I just do the role, and I don't have to be distracted by all the other girls sitting and waiting in a room. I don't have to wait around and wait and wait and wait, right? So there's none of that.
Right.
And it's funner because you got all your props at home. You can set up a desk. You can grab your bags and put your coat on. I mean, all those little props that you would have, just to help you through, and you don't have that in the room.
Right.
And also just not meeting a director is sometimes, sometimes it's not a great mix, and you don't have to go through that either. You just have to put out your best work and wait for the call. So I prefer taping at home. Absolutely, 100%. And, I don't have to go all the way out to these addresses where these casting directors would have their offices and try and find parking, and then you're late and you're stressed. All that stuff is just by the wind now.
Absolutely.
But I do like a callback. A Zoom callback, you're already stoked, right? Because you're one of the contenders at that point. And so then that makes it a little bit more comfortable meeting the director and following some suggestions. That's all great. So Zoom callbacks, no problem. But yeah, going in the room, it seems like such an archaic way of getting the job now. I wonder if it'll ever kind of return to that.
I guess it just depends on who the person is, how they want to conduct an audition, I guess.
Yeah, I've met a couple of directors. Like, I think there was a couple of times where I just met the director and then got the job. I was really into that kind of way of casting, too. And that was Robert Altman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just meeting him and hanging out with him and talking and shooting the shit with him for 10 minutes, and then he says goodbye, and then he hired me. You know what I mean? He knows. Like, it's a great way of doing it because the actor can manage the material because you just look at their resume, and they've been working for 30 years, so they got that. And they know they can do it. You just want to get their essence, you see? So having a chat about life, I don't know, it was just so... It was an empowering way to get a job.
What movie did you work with him on?
It was a series. It was a TV series, short-lived.
Uh-huh. It
was called Killer App. And it was amazing, but it was like 10 years before its time. I got to work with Robert Altman, and he does 10-hour days, and he does 3 cameras at all times, and his 2 sons were on each camera, and his wife is on set every day, and he breaks after 10 hours and then invites the main actors back to his room to watch dailies.
I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. Brian Kerwin's in there. Stephen Lang. Wow.
Brenda? What was
Brenda Strong.
Brenda's last name?
Brenda Strong.
She's just fantastic. What an amazing woman. And oh my God, you're not prepared for her being 5 or 6'1", yeah?
I can't believe I never saw that. I'll check that one out. You guest starred on a 2-part episode of The Commish. How was that?
Oh, I remember that guy. That star guy. What was his name?
Michael Chiklis.
Chiklis. Oh, I was just, oh my God. Tommy, that must have been one of my very first jobs, or second or third or whatever, because I just remember being like a teenager. Mm-hmm. And of course, I think I was playing a call girl, so I was all dollied up, looking like a doll. I mean, oh my God. And I just remember, him being very professional and very good at what he did. I just remember having a lot of fun on that show. That's going back. That's going back.
Yeah, my dad loved the show when I was a kid. I watched it with him.
Oh, Michael Chiklis just rocked. I mean, he really owned that show, and I think he just sent it home. He's really, really good.
It's Stephen J. Candle, one of the best writers TV ever had.
Yeah, and he was Van guy, right? A Vancouver guy.
No, he was American,
maybe not
but
LA, but he had a studio here. He had a studio here with Winston Record.
Yeah, he had some shows that were shot in Canada.
Yeah, and he was here and doing a bunch of shows, and I remembered he had a studio with Stephen J. Cannell, Winston Record Cannell, Cannell Record. They had a studio together. Man, that was back in the day where movie studios were here. Like, now it's just all high rises, and if you're going to go to a movie studio, you're driving an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's the Vancouver movie studios, but I'm just saying, like, the things, Vancouver 30 years ago, it was so gritty to shoot here. You could shoot anywhere, whereas now it's like all out in Langley, Mm-hmm. Getting permits to shoot in the city is a thing of the past, unless you're an A. It's only A movies that are spending that much money,
Oh, I've talked to a lot of low budget movie people from back in the day. Oh, there were hardly ever any permits on a lot of those movies.
Oh, isn't that so funny? Oh my God, try that now.
Yeah, you can't.
No, it's just everything changes, as we know, and the city's changed so much, and so has the business. But if I was, it really comes down to, do you have what they're looking for, and that's the bottom line. Whether you're taping yourself in Nunavut or you're in Somalia or wherever, you send tapes in from everywhere, and that actually opens up the casting quite a bit, and I believe that opens up the competition quite a bit. You're going up for a part these days, you are not going up against 10 ladies like it used to be. You're going up with 50 to 60 tapes flying in, and they're all good.
I know you.
They're all good.
You would think that the whole aesthetic would change, because now everyone's got their demo reels online, and you would think that producers would just, find whoever they want. But no, they still got to dick around these days.
Yeah, because they want to see their material being read. They don't want to see anybody else's material. Oh, she's played a part like this. No. If we're going to pay her the money, let's see her do the audition, Mm-hmm. Not everybody, but, I used to get some offers, once in a while they'd call up and they'd really like to invite you to be on this show, and I'd say yes, but these days they're making you go through the hoops, that's for sure.
They've always been that way, but absolutely. The movie you did with Mark Hamill was Time Runner. Time
Runner. That was also, that was an interesting one. I didn't have a big part. I think I played his girlfriend.
Probably.
Yeah, Mark Hamill. Yeah, and he had a car accident or something.
Oh, yeah?
So he had a lot of facial surgery. Or reconstructive surgery. So he was not looking so Mark Hamill when I was working with him.
And Ray Don Chong was in there?
Yep, Ray Don Chong. God, I love her dad. I mean, huge Chong fan.
I had Tommy Chong on here a few years ago. It was so surreal for me.
I'll bet. Yeah, man, that guy's a legend, right? There's not too many people that drive a marijuana car through a border.
Yeah.
A car made of marijuana. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love those guys. That's never going to die, that stuff. That's always going to be funny for the next generation and the next one after that.
I totally agree, yeah. Like you worked with Charles Bronson on The Sea Wolf.
Oh, my God. Okay. Charles Bronson, what a classic dude, man. Mm-hmm. So, apparently I looked like one of his wives or his ex-wife or something, or one of them that died or whatever. He took a liking to me. He was very professional. Mm-hmm. I played his girlfriend. And then he said, "Would you like to go for dinner?" And I said, "Of course." And so he and his driver showed up at my place and took me out. I went out to High Steakhouse and had a nice steak with Mr. Bronson. I just thought he was the sweetest old man. And, look at the movies that he did, like where he was always killing everybody. He was just so different from the parts he played. Oh, my God. Anyway, I just remember him. I said, "Oh, Luke, you got to come and meet Charles Bronson." So my brother came down. And he said, "Hi." And I said, "This is my brother, Luke." And he just looked at my brother and he just said, "Don't step on the hot cigarettes." And there was a cigarette that was lit down by Luke's feet. I mean, why I tell you that, I don't know. I just remember that. We went out, and then he took me home, and he just gave me a peck on the cheek, and that was it. He was no funny business or anything. What a classic gentleman he was. And, truly one of the old greats, eh?
Yeah. He.
I love him. I have a great picture of him and I together too.
I mean, he spent 20 years or so doing villain roles, and then he became a leading star in his 50s. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, and also his villain roles, they weren't just slight villain roles. They were like shoot 'em up, like very, very violent stuff, eh? And he's just such a sweet, classic, polite gentleman. So, yeah, he played the good bad guy. But he was a really good guy.
Yeah. And you had Kathy Stewart, who's a friend of mine. I love her.
Yep, Kathy Stewart. You know her?
I know her very well.
You know everybody, Tommy.
I know.
You do, and everybody loves you.
Oh, yeah, Kathy, she was one of the first people that I met at a convention, and she's been on here like 5 times or something, and she just connected me with one of her co-stars from one of her 80s movies that I love. So, yeah, Kathy's great. Mark Singer, I was scheduled to interview him, and then he freaking blocked me on Facebook. I have no idea why.
Yeah, it's really weird, eh? People just get weird. Like, they don't... Yeah. If you had basically sent Mark Singer maybe like a list of the people that you've been able to speak with, I think he would have been eased up because
I did. I sent his assistant that, and still nothing.
Yeah, that's just it's a bit odd because it's fun talking to you, and you do a great service for so many people.
Thank you.
And let me know if I can hook you up with anybody, and I will.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm entering my 7th year, and I hope this year will be the best year yet. I mean, this year was already good. It was kind of interesting because the strike was going on, and I had a lot of historians and other podcasters on and musicians to fill the void, but it was a good year overall. But next year, I'm hoping will be the absolute best.
That's great. Well, listen, I have one friend of mine who's in the biz. She's on this show called When Calls the Heart. It's a Canadian show. It's called Heartland. Heartland. It's been on for 16 years. Mm-hmm. She was also in some pretty big movies. What we call that with Tom. Not Ties. Tom's. Anyways, I'll get a list together of a few of my celeb friends and put down what they've been in, and I'll shoot them over to you, and you can see if there's anybody that interests you.
Okay, that would be great. And you also got to work with Christopher Reeve before his accident in this.
Also, no, he was in the movie with Charles Bronson.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the Seawolf.
Yeah, it was like, how weird is that? Yeah. That I got to work with Superman.
Yeah.
And then Superman was in a wheelchair. It does not make sense to me, that man's life. It does not make sense. I don't get how that happens. Like, you play Superman, and then you have an accident on your horse, and you never move again. Like, holy shit, did he take that well, or what?
Either way, he's still Superman because he survived it,
Yeah, and he passed, right? He passed away, and
yeah.
I was so shocked. I was just like, Superman?
Mm-hmm.
He was the best Superman, He was the one who looked the most like Superman. He was a huge guy, eh? Like, huge, 6'5".
Yeah. He's about 6'5".
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember being very, very tall and extremely kind and very professional, very nice. Yeah, it's just strange how some people's life turns out.
That speaking of people who've passed, did you work with Corey Haim in Just One of the Girls?
I sure did, and again, he was at the time in his career where I think he was getting a lot of attention and making a lot of money. And he had a girlfriend on set, so that was a little bit of a tough situation because they kept quibbling.
Nicole Eggert.
That's right, Nicole Eggert, and she was at the time looking like a very young, cute gal. She was just as cute as a button.
Yeah.
And her and Corey were. Yep, her and Corey were an item, and they would have like relationship issues when we were trying to make this movie. But yeah, I played his gym teacher, and it's so funny that I had to believe that he was a girl the whole time, and
it's one of my favorite roles you've ever played.
I beg your pardon?
It's one of my favorite roles you've ever played.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. I was able to do some of my comedy in there, and I had a great time. I mean, honestly, I can shut my eyes. I see exactly what I was wearing. I know exactly what I was wearing. I knew exactly what my wardrobe was for that show. And you know where we shot it? It was Kitsilano High School. That's where my daughter graduated from that school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah, and it's too bad that he's gone too, it's strange to me. I'm in some of the best shape of my life right now, so I think it's so strange the way these people are dying so young. But you know what? I guess it's a drug and alcohol thing, maybe.
It was, yeah. He went down that rabbit hole once, Hollywood came into the picture. And, I've talked to his sister and some of his ex-girlfriends, and they miss him dearly. He was just genuinely a great guy.
Oh, and he was extremely talented, eh?
Yes. Very.
He was a talented actor.
That movie he did when he was like 14, Lucas, oh my God, he was well beyond his years in that movie.
I know, he's so cute too, right? Like, Corey was so cute. And what about the other Corey? Is he still alive? Or?
Corey Feldman? Oh, God, that guy is a mess. Yeah, he's been causing a lot of controversy about the whole pedophiles in Hollywood thing, which we do know they exist, but he keeps lying about stuff and getting caught.
Oh, and is he down that rabbit hole too? Is that what he's got himself into?
Well, yeah, he always had the drug problem, but I don't know if he's on it now. But if he isn't, then the drug still must have just went to his brain because he's crazy now.
Right. Well, shoot. It's you really got to just keep your head on straight and realize that you are just one of many and that you're not that special, and keep your feet on the ground,
Yeah, I mean, they start believing in their own publicity. And
their own hype. It's terrible. And you know what? I don't know, Tommy. I kind of sometimes think, it's sort of inevitable. It's kind of like the way money changes people. It just does, and that's just the way it is. So, fame, I wouldn't know because I don't have it. But massive fame. Ooh, I don't know how you do it.
The scene where you're getting Corey as a girl to trying to admit that she's a lesbian is just hilarious every time I watch it.
I know, and I kind of wondered if my character was a bit gay.
I think she was, actually.
Yeah, I think that when I watched it, I was thinking, wow, that's a gay gym teacher. So funny, because I had a gay gym teacher who hit on us.
Yeah.
Back in the day, huh? When everything was acceptable and everything went down, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just incredible since the pandemic. Like, when I was working in the pandemic, honestly, all those masks and the protocols, and then having your own station and your own trailer for makeup.
Yeah.
Everything just changed so much from that. But you know what? Maybe we've learned a few things. I don't know. I think some of the sets right now are still mask on, eh?
Yeah, actually, a lot of them are.
It's like, come on, man. Enough already. I'm kind of glad that it's all over, even though it's still sort of existing in the movie business a little bit. I'm just glad that it's all over. That was stressful.
Yeah. You worked with another guest of mine, Michelle Green, and she woke up pregnant.
Michelle Green, yeah. Now that was an amazing little show. I had a God, you're not going to believe this one, but I actually dated Joe Penny after that.
Really?
Yeah, for a year. And I hung out in LA and I was living in his house with him.
Jake and the hot girl.
Yeah, man, he was a very nice man. We didn't have a great ending, but he was a very nice person, and just another actor who's just living off of guest starring roles into their 80s. He was very good at what he did.
Yeah.
But that whole movie is, it was a tough subject matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to see it on Lifetime Network. After my grandmother passed away, I started watching Lifetime TV Network and seeing a lot of TV movies all the time.
Yeah. Well, Lifetime's got their reputation. They do they go for the jugular on a lot of subjects.
Yeah.
Like when it's a Lifetime movie because it's based on immediately it's based on something that's really a big scandal.
Yeah, and it's shot in Canada most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guest starred on a couple Highlander episodes. Any memories there?
And and Adrian Paul, what a pro! I had to do a sex scene with him.
Uh-huh.
I think he was getting a hard on. No word of a lie. And that's the funny thing is that our hard-ons are just unseeable. We may have an internal hard-on or whatever, but for a guy, it must be really tough to roll around in bed with a gal and pretend it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I loved him. He was great, and I believe Justin Lewis was also in that episode, and he now goes by Louis Ferreira. He was really good in that episode. I got to ride horses in that episode, and I had to have kind of a good command of the horses, which was okay for me because I kind of grew up with horses.
Yeah.
My dad had a bunch, and I just remember, them sending me to riding school for an entire week before we shot. And then on the day we shot it, it was like they didn't want me to do the galloping because there was too many potholes in the field.
Yeah.
All that work. Anyways, I got to do most of my horse stuff, but just not the fun scenes with the galloping. Adrian Paul, excellent horseman.
And then you did
Justin Lewis, not so much.
Yeah. And then you did Xena, Warrior Princess.
Yeah, did I?
Yeah.
Why don't I? Why? Who's in that? I don't remember that one.
Lucy Lawless.
No, I didn't do that.
You play a character named Amazon.
No, I don't remember that. Wow. That's on my resume?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't have one recollection of that, and I remember almost everything else you've told me.
And it's funny because Lucy Lawless was to my generation what Linda Carter was for the 70s generation of being, the hot girl on TV. And she was so overexposed. I thought she was going to be a huge movie star. She was going to transition like Bruce Willis or somebody and become a huge movie star. I saw her do an interview recently. Man, she has got a potty mouth on her.
Yeah, and also she was quite she was quite the gal. I mean, she was beautiful, and she was tall and strong, and I just remember her, being very, very down to earth. Yeah.
Yeah. And you did a TV series version of the old Clark Gable movie called The Wild with Nick Mancuso.
Yeah, The Wild. Nick Mancuso, what a character that guy is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a couple of things. Yeah. He's got an assistant at all times with him, and he needs everything to be just so. And so he's a high maintenance guy, but what a lovely man,
Mm-hmm.
worth all the maintenance. Just really cool dude. Really, really, really nice man. And I wish him well. I don't know anything about Nick Mancuso these days, or whether what he's up to. Still acting.
I DM'd him on Facebook about 4 years ago. He was living in France, and I asked him if he'd come on the podcast. He said he would, and then he blocked me, or he either left Facebook. I don't know which. And then my friend Greg, who has a podcast up in Canada, he had him on his podcast. I listened to it. The guy didn't even give him anything except name drop and name the previous movies his co-stars were in. I was like, that's not an interview, you know.
Yeah, and he's a very unusual person, so it would be interesting to see what his interview would sound like. You just get these characters sometimes, and you're just like, wow. It's like, you could make a movie about Nick Mancuso just being himself, and people would probably be glued to the TV. He's a real piece of work, that one.
Remember that movie he did, Ticket to Heaven?
Yes,
that's a great underrated movie. Like, it should be remade because we become more conscious about cults nowadays, especially Scientology.
What do you think of Scientology?
I think it's bullshit.
I can't get over how someone would believe the first sentence. You know what I mean? I don't understand how people are believing that stuff and then spending all that money on getting to the Xena thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, I never thought of myself as the smartest person in the world, but I gotta tell you right now, I wouldn't buy that for all the tea in China. I just don't get it. What makes someone go there?
I think that, okay, well, there's two types of people who go there. There's the people who are decent people who are blind and gullible, and then there's the people who are shitty. And when the people who are heading the church, find the like-minded people who are also shitty, they make them aware of what's going on. But then, the people who are decent and blind, they go years without knowing what's going on. I think that's what happens.
Yeah, I would be lost at the first, give me your $500 for me to give you a test with an e-meter. I would just be, you're kidding me, right?
It's creepy.
Yeah, I don't get it. And so I actually try to remain a bit non-judgmental, because I'm just wondering how many of my friends are into this stuff, right? So, but yeah. I felt like actually putting it on my Facebook page. If you were a Scientologist, just delete me,
Yeah, it's weird. I'm glad that Leah Remini is like blowing the whistle on it, and I hope she wins by a miracle, wins that lawsuit between her and David Miscavige.
Oh, and what about that guy, right? Where's his wife?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think people really care what happened to her, because she's probably just as shitty as he is. I think they're just wondering, like, yeah, where did she go? Because it's so weird that she just disappeared mysteriously. I do think she was murdered, though, in my opinion.
I think she's dead. Yeah, I think she's dead. I can't believe it. Wow. I mean, oh man, that guy is so strange. And the other thing is how is Tom Cruise believing any of that stuff?
I think he's one of the shitty ones, in my opinion.
I know. I don't watch his movies because I can't even look at his face, because he's so into that stuff, and he believes it so much that I just think I just can't watch your movies. I can't watch anything with you.
I just think he hasn't made a good movie in years, so I'd never watch his movies anymore.
Yeah, no. And my daughter's like, Mom, watch this, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to see any CGI. So how much is there? And she's like, well, I guess it's all CGI. So,
how is making Cruel and Unusual?
Cruel and Unusual. Now that is with Tom Berenger, right? Well, I'll tell you something. I shouldn't be saying this, but we had a lot of alcohol on that movie. There's a lot of alcohol in that movie. There's a lot of nights where we were just piss drunk after shooting. He had this cute little wife named Trish with him on the show. And they bought me a beautiful leather jacket as a gift at the end, of which, of course, I lived with someone with a rabbit and they ate it. But, yeah, he was a really nice guy, and he had his little baby girl, Scout, and Trish, and you know, he said, you know what, me and Tom Berenger don't have two words to knock together, I'll be honest. He's a Republican, and he's just a man who talks about cigars and politics, and I was just this young girl who didn't know a thing about any of that stuff, and, you know, we you know, I liked him very much. I had to do a sex scene with him.
Yeah.
And so they came into the wardrobe room, you know, they said, here's a thing to tape on your privates, and here's something to tape on your boobs. And then they said to Tom, here's a little bag. If you put all your junk in the bag and just sew the bag up there and tie it up so that, you know, nothing's touching anything.
Yeah.
Tom Berenger just looks at me and he goes, are you kidding me? Fuck all this shit. Let's go. And so we both just did the scene without all that stuff taped to our bodies and stuff taped to this and that and the other, and just got it over within, you know, 2-3 minutes of shooting, and his wife was right at the monitor, and we just, you know, he's just not that kind of a guy to put a little bag on his unit, you know?
Yeah.
He's just let's just get this thing going and let's just end it, you know? He was really cool. He was a very cool man.
Yeah.
You know, Tom Berenger, like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, I just remember him from Platoon. Guy's a superstar in my mind.
Oh, yeah. You got to work with George Mahaka.
Oh, yeah, Mahaka. Listen, I see George all the time. Like, I don't see George all the time, but he's really good friends with my agent, and they always get together. They live in the same area. So he's always sending me happy Christmas, happy New Year's, George Mahaka. What a great man that guy was. He was one of the best directors I've ever worked with. I loved him.
Yeah, he directed My Bloody Valentine with Carl Marot, of all people.
Oh, my God, Carl Marot. Is Carl Marot still in acting?
I don't know. Like, he blocked me on Facebook years ago because I was trying to get him to come on the podcast. And then about 2 years ago or so, he accepted my request on LinkedIn, and now he just won't respond. It's like, I don't know what's up with that guy.
Yeah, I don't know either, because you're such a nice person. You really are. And I don't understand why anybody wouldn't jump at the chance to talk with you.
I don't know. You know, there's people in this business that hide stuff too, and they're always afraid it's going to get out or something. The menage a trois I had with him and Carolyn Dunn. Yeah. That is so fucking awesome. Oh my God. That. You were on the Dead Zone with Anthony Michael Hall. How was that?
Yeah, no, you know what? Like I said, he's a pro. That was a great. I remember where we were. It was night. It was cold. It was raining. You know, he's just a pro. You know, you meet these people. You don't get to know them too well. They just, you know, they say hello. They do their thing. But yeah, he was very well liked on set, and I didn't hear any bad stuff.
Did you have any scenes with Robert Culp?
No, I didn't.
You're lucky, because I've heard he was very difficult.
Oh, right. Really?
Yeah. You know why he did the movie Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice? Because him and his many wives were swingers.
Okay. Yeah, and that sounds. Why not? Why not? If that's what you're into.
Yeah, I used to be into it.
And you meet other people that are into it, then I guess. But I'm in a relationship right now, and there's no swinging going on. I couldn't even imagine it, to be honest. I'm when I have a guy, I'm just like with my guy, you know. I just, that swinging around stuff's for the youngins anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a young man's game. I mean, I recently had my first one in over a decade, and it was fun. It was very awakening to me because it had been so long, but at the same time, it's like, this is a young man's game.
Yep, it sure is. And, 40's young, my darling. 40's the new 20. Absolutely.
You worked with Leah Thompson in a Christmas movie, The Christmas Clause.
She's my favorite. I've done a bunch of movies with her. She's just my favorite person. I love her.
She was the very
And,
first one I met at a con.
well, then she must have been polite and sweet to you because she is a classic lady.
Yes.
For famous little daughters, I mean, she's so pretty and so kind and so not affected by fame and just so helpful and giving actor. You'd think that she was your sister. The girl has not got any ego whatsoever. She knows how to make, a low-budget movie doable, no complaining, always supporting actors, always being there for reading her lines with actors. I mean, she is a class act.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've been able to do a couple of things with her, so I love her.
Oh,
I actually brought my daughter on set.
Oh yeah.
With her, and we have a nice picture. There's a picture on the internet. If you were to scroll around, you'll see Rachel Hayward and Leah Thompson from that movie there, and my little kids in there. In the kitchen with the cook that played the cook on the show. It's just
nice.
What a lovely lady. I mean, she's got some great, successful, unbelievable kids.
Yeah, when I met her, it was just during a photo op. I didn't get her autograph. I just went and got a photo op, and she gave me a hug afterwards. She was just a great lady, and I have the photo op with me and my friend by my bed right now.
Aw, yeah, she's a sweet person. And that's the kind of person you want to interview, Tommy, not these weirdos who think they're above and beyond,
I've reached out to her, but I haven't gotten a response. Maybe in the future.
Yeah, she is, become extremely busy and stuff, and she's also, I'm not sure how much work she's doing now.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, I don't even think she, if I don't know how to get in touch with her, but if I did, she probably wouldn't even remember me.
I don't think so. I think you're very memorable.
Well, some of the chats that we've had are pretty memorable.
Yes, they are. How's the design business these days?
It's good. I have had a sweater company for about 22 years, and I'm going to phase out of it and try something else. I'm really painting a lot these days, and I want to get into some art shows, and I also, I'm not leaving acting, so I'll be looking to make this a really good year for me. It's been a rough past too, and I put that behind me, and I'm going full steam ahead this year for some good work, and I'm going to put the sweaters on hold for a while. I'll be sewing for the rest of this season, but I'm sort of thinking that I'm going to put my energies into a different kind of art because why not? I mean, put it this way. I mean, how many years do I have left in this? So I want to make sure that I just really want to make sure that I do everything I want to do. And I've always gone to art school, and I graduated from OCA, and I want to do something with my art, so I'm painting a lot. And I sold 3 paintings recently, so, I'm going to see what happens.
Yeah, were you, doing art when you were growing up? Were you, painting and drawing and all that?
No, I was just being an ass and acting, honestly. I was just basically spending every dime I got and just having the life of Riley. I did not focus on anything back when I was young. It was all the me time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
Did you come from dancing first?
No, I did not. I just came from a modeling career. I was a model as a little girl. Yeah. I was surrounded by artists in my house, so it was just a bunch of photographers who just said, "Hey, can we use your 3 kids, Anne?" And she was like, "Sure." So we would get taken out of school and doing shoots for magazines and the Bay and Eaton's. And that segued to commercials, which segued to movies. I never planned to be an actor. It just kind of happened to me.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, breaking all the rules, being your first movie, I mean, you were well beyond your years. Every time I watch it, I am just so amazed at how good your comedic timing is. Whether the chemistry that you have with Thor in that movie as David is just unparalleled. Whether it's the part where it's like, have you ever had a quickie, David? Are you kidding me? I give great quickie. It's just perfect.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not going to give up my career as an actor. I just am an actor, and I look forward to getting some work this year, and maybe at the end of the year, if I've got a bunch of good stuff to talk about, we can reconvene and chat again.
That would be great. Yeah. Have you
You
have
can
you
always call
have
me. I
you?
think you're a very nice person.
Oh, thank you. Have you connected with Caroline Dunn yet on Facebook?
No, you know what? I think she sort of left the acting career a long time ago, and no, I haven't. Have you?
Well, I found her on Facebook a few years ago, and I've DM'd her, and she doesn't check her Facebook I that much. I noticed. We have a couple mutual friends, I think, but I'm gonna definitely try in 2024. I remember Michael Rudder declined me when I tried to connect with him,
And
and
he's such a sweet guy. I wonder why. Maybe it was something that he was going through, because I just remember him as being such a nice person.
yeah, I don't know. I can try again in the future, but the woman who co-wrote the movie, Edith Ray, she told me she was too shy to do an interview, and Rachel Zelinsky, the other guy, I connected with him on LinkedIn. He's kind of a strange guy. I could go either way with that, but yeah, I love the movie. I think it's so underrated. I always tell people to go watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I
Hello.
don't know what it is that make people say yes or no to, but if I could do anything, I would help out, because I always thought Michael Rudder was a good dude.
I'm sure he is, but he was probably just going through something at the time. Real quick,
You know?
we got to play my secret silly game. This is a lot of fun.
Okay.
This is a series of silly slumber party questions. No win or lose. It's just pure fun. And how the game works is, Rachel, I ask you the question. After you answer it, you ask me that exact same question, and I answer it. And feel free to comment on the answers because they might be funny.
Okay.
Rachel, are you ticklish?
I certainly am ticklish. Just watch you don't get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Tommy, are you ticklish?
Oh, yes. If you tickle me without warning, I might hit you in the groin.
That's totally fair.
It's a touche there. Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
It's an innie.
Nice.
No problems ever with my button. Never tried to pierce it like my daughter did 4 times. That didn't take.
Oh, God.
Is your belly button an innie or an outie, Tommy?
It's also an innie. What color are your toenails painted?
Right now, red.
Nice.
I'm not going to ask you that, though.
You don't want to know what I have?
What color are your toenails painted?
Right now they are red, green, and white for Christmas, but tomorrow they're going to be gold with sparkles for New Year's.
I love that. You're adventurous.
I've been painting my toenails since I was 13.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What would you say is your best personality trait?
My sense of humor.
You have a great sense of humor.
What is yours? What is your best personality trait, Tommy?
I have empathy and I have no filter.
Love it. That's right on, man. I mean, that's called refreshing, by the way.
That's all. Thank you so much. I'm a Gemini.
Perfect.
If you could have anything named after you, what would it be?
I'm thinking. How about a street?
Okay. Street's good.
How about you?
Hayward Street. A vibrator.
Wow. Okay.
I would.
Yep. Well, I already. Yep. Okay.
I would call it the Tommy Chatsy.
That's a very, very, very good answer. I wouldn't have thought about that. I went with a street. You went with a vibe. Right on.
And then my favorite question: is there a stinky smell that just makes you gag?
Yes, cat food.
That is the
I
worst.
fucking hate cat food. I cannot stand the smell of cat food.
Yeah.
And is there a stinky smell for you, Tommy?
Either farts or feet.
Okay. Yeah, cat food is just. I had cats as youngster, and I never did. I never had another cat when I left home because I knew that I'd have to open those cans every day, and I can't smell cat food. Oh yeah, no, I can't smell cat food.
Yeah, it is the worst. I have a
And of
joke for
course,
I have a joke for you.
okay.
What do you call a boy that doesn't masturbate?
Uh, 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 weird.
A liar.
Okay.
People are always trying to guess the punchline to that joke, and sometimes the punchline is actually funnier than mine. Like,
No, dude. You know what? That
oh,
is a good answer, and it makes a lot of sense. And I should have just known that.
like sometimes they guess a girl, broken, different different things.
Yeah, because I thought, is it a girl? And then I thought, no, because girls masturbate, so it can't be a girl. Yeah, you lost me on that one.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming back on. And yes, I
Yeah,
mean,
you
yes, I
call me
mean,
anytime.
yes, I mean, if you have any good projects coming up, next year, just let me know.
I certainly will, and we can talk all about it, and I'll tell you all the dirt.
Fantastic. You have yourself a happy new year, a great rest of your day, and be safe out there.
Yeah, you too. Nice to hear from you, Tommy. Happy New Year.
You too. Happy New Year.
All right, mate. See you later. Thanks for calling.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Rachel Hayward, ain't she a sweetheart? Oh my god, she's a load of fun. I just freaking love her. She's so fun and funny and brutally honest. I mean, she's a gem. Just an absolute gem. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.